Hi Capricorn, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your March 2022 tarot reading. Thanks to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, at the Cult Crossbred as always. And I also pulled a Four Agreements card, an Oracle card, and a Mudra card for you guys. But before we actually get there, we're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus will be as far as that goes. Alright, let's see what we get. Okay, so we have Neptune, and Neptune's actually in Pisces, which is your third house communication. We have Virgo, which is actually your ninth house of philosophy, higher learning, foreign affairs. And there will be a full moon in Virgo in March. And we have 11. So the 11th house for you guys is actually Scorpio. And not much there going on astrologically speaking, but the South Node did move into that sign recently. So could be reconnecting with old friends, possibly even old hopes and wishes that you've had as well. So those could be coming back to the surface for you. All right, so we'll keep that all in mind as we go through the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the Two of Pentacles. So this is actually a Capricorn energy here. And for some of you, this could just be saying that you're trying to decide between two options, could be financially related, possibly even trying to juggle two different things financially too. So for example, maybe you have a traditional job, quote unquote, like a day job, but then you also have your own side gig that you could be doing. So you might be trying to figure out a way to balance those two things out to where it's more manageable. And for some of you, it could just be possibly even two different job options. There's many different ways that it could go, but yeah, it looks like you have two different options that you're weighing, or there's already two things that you're dealing with and you're trying to balance those two things better. All right, in the challenger obstacle position, we have the moon. So for me, what I would say with this is if this is more of, not two things that you're actively doing, but trying to find a balance between the two, this is more of you trying to decide between two options, an either or type of scenario. I feel like it's saying the struggle could be as you feel like you're not seeing the situation clearly. So you might feel like you can't trust the decision that you would make at this time. So that could be what's causing you to delay it. One day you wake up and you feel, oh, this is the better option. And a few hours later you feel like, oh, you know what, I could see the pluses of this other option. So you could just feel like it's a back and forth cycle in that regard. If that's the case, that full moon in Virgo could definitely help you guys out with that, especially given that the Virgo energy came up in your dice as well. But yeah, that's what I see with that. And then, of course, the new moon at the very beginning of March in Pisces, which is your third house communication, that could help as well. So it could just be saying your best bet might be to bounce the idea off other people and just see what you get from that. In the foundation position, we have the Queen of Cups. So this is Cancer energy, which for you guys is your 7th house of partnerships, relationships, contracts. So seeing this in the foundation, I feel like this is saying that if it is more of a thing where there's two options you're trying to decide between, I feel like your heart is kind of already leaning in one direction, but there could be reluctance on your part to move toward it. And so, for example, again, like let's say you're trying to decide, do I continue with my traditional career path or start my own business, right? You might feel like that's where you're being pulled to start your own business, but then you fear that you might not have that same level of security that you have at your more traditional job. So it could be one of those things where you're getting closer to making that decision, but you might still pull back on it. For those of you, if this is just around sharing an idea too, you might be holding it close to your chest in that regard, maybe not opening up about it just yet. And for some of you, this could even be trying to decide whether or not you want to enter into a relationship too. All right, in the past position, we have the 8 of Wands, Sagittarius energy, and the 2 of Wands, Aries energy. So for some of you, this could just be saying that, especially during Sagittarius season, there might have been a lot of planning going on around the situation, and there might have been a goal set in place at the time that, okay, by the time Aries season starts, so, depending on what hemisphere you're in, that could be the start of spring or fall, but yeah, I feel like that's saying that that's where you guys had decided, like, okay, that by the time Aries season rolls around, could be ready to roll with this new idea, right? It could have been on the communication around that. Definitely could have been financially based, but again, given that this is Sagittarius energy for you guys, which is 12th house, I feel like that's saying that might have been one of those things where you might have been really going over it in your head, but maybe not outwardly expressing to a lot of people that this was your plan. So there's a good chance a lot of people might not know that this was what was going on in your mind. All right. In the present position, we have the Tower. So what I'm seeing with this, for the most part, I feel like this is saying that between the two options you might have, one of them might actually be taken away from you, or your perspective on how viable of an option it is might be pulled away from you. So, I do have to say, for the majority of you, I actually feel like it's the more quote unquote traditional slash stable thing that would be the thing that would actually reveal itself to not be as stable as you thought. Um, Trying to see if anything else comes to mind with this. And if this was around you possibly entering into a relationship, you might actually start to see that situation a little bit differently as well. It doesn't have to be a huge thing, but it could be as simple as there's someone that you had a thing for, and then you guys might get into your first argument, and usually in those cases that could feel like the end of the world, but it's really not. It's just one of those things where now you have to shift your perspective on the situation and approach it from a different angle. But yeah, worst case, if you're worried about the Tower directly impacting you in some way, I do recommend to people sometimes to just carry some black tourmaline with you. It's a protection stone. It's pretty cheap as well, so just carry some of that around. But yeah, I feel like this is just more of one of the two options that you've been going back and forth on. Just might be pulled away from you, which could actually benefit you if you really do feel like you're truly stuck and can't decide between the two. All right, in the near future position, we have the Queen of Swords. So this is Libra energy here, and for you guys, that is your 10th house of career and social status. So it's good to be saying that in the near future, you will be seeing the situation a lot more clearly, and you will have that balance around which option would be the best for you. Or again, like I said, if you really are going to continue with both options, like I said, if you have a traditional job and then you have a side gig, looks like you will find a better way to manage your time around that. So that's definitely a positive there. All right. In the position of your influence in the situation, we have the Three of Wands in reverse, Aries energy, and the Ace of Cups in reverse. So, interestingly enough, seeing these two cards come up could just be saying that some of you might be scrapping an idea with that Ace of Cups in reverse. Could just be saying that maybe it's one of those things that you've been waiting on for a long time. So, to me, this does at least lend itself to the thought that I had that looks like some of you might be making a decision. Again, for some of you, like I said, with that Tower moment, you might feel like it's made for you in some way. Or if you were going back and forth between two options, one might be pulled away. But yeah, seeing this here looks like it's saying that you're going to be taking a more proactive approach toward the situation. So if that Two of Pentacles, it could just feel like a never-ending cycle of, am I going to do it? Am I not going to do it? Seeing this come up in reverse to me says it'll probably be a bit more of a proactive approach that you take. If that's the case, it could be as we get toward the end of March, since that'll be more when we're in the Aries energy. All right. In the environment position, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So this energy coming up here, Virgo energy, which also came up in your dice, like we said, I feel like this is saying that for a lot of you, you might actually lean more toward doing the independent thing. The reason why I say that, often when I see this energy, it makes me think of entrepreneurial energy because he's quite literally making his own money. So some of you might decide to lean more that way. And like I said, or if there's some kind of a Tower moment, you might even be more pushed in that direction. But yeah, it looks like you will be putting a lot of work in for sure this month. Or even if it's one of those things where you do decide that you are going to stay with a traditional job, this could be pointing to you guys trying to get yourself some more certifications or degrees, right? So you could actually elevate your status within that career path as well. So looks like you're definitely going to take a more action-oriented approach there too, which we mentioned with those cards as well. So yeah, I guess that's one way it could be playing out too, right? Where maybe you've maxed out where you're at, so that could be what the Two of Pentacles is about, and maybe it's coming to the realization that if you do want to elevate yourself, so if it's not more or less that you're trying to decide between two options, it's just that you feel like you're maxed out where you are now. You could come to the realization that okay, well maybe in order for me to take that next step up, I might need to get some kind of a certification. I might need to go back to school for a class or two, right? Things along those lines. And if that's the case, looks like you will be putting in work toward that. All right. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Hermit. So, yeah, for the majority of you, I feel like this is going to be more of a hope. And this could just be saying that you're hoping to see things from a higher perspective, right? And really decide what's in your greater good in the long run. If you're doing some kind of business as well, could just be saying that you open to expand your client base as well. So, for example, if you have just a business where you deal with people in your immediate local area, you could be looking for ways to expand to where you might even have an international base of customers. So that's what I see with that. All right. And in the outcome position, we have the Seven of Wands. So it looks like whatever decision you do make, there might be some people that might disagree with that decision. But I feel like this is one that you would have thought out quite a bit. And what I usually say here with this energy in particular, usually it looks like, there could be a challenge, but if we look at that, he has that higher ground, right? So usually you're able to successfully defend yourself around whatever decision it is that you do decide to make. For some of you, this could be around some kind of investments as well. Maybe that's what the back and forth was about, trying to decide, okay, where do I want to invest? Um, for some of you, could be actual financial assets. For others, you could just be your time and energy. But yeah, looks like you're going to make your decision. There could be some people might disagree with it, but overall, it's like you'll be able to defend your stance. All right, bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Pentacles. So this is actually Capricorn energy here, just like that Two of Pentacles. So yeah, to see this come up, especially for those of you, if your Capricorn placement is in the middle 10 degrees of Capricorn, could just be saying that you'll definitely be feeling a lot more stable by the end of the month, feeling like you're building something long-standing and coming out of that feeling like you're just in constant fluctuation. So like I said, from you, if you were doing two jobs, you might actually keep them, but just with that Libra energy we see there, you might actually find a way, okay, this is how I can manage the time best, right? To where it doesn't feel like a constant struggle, right? Where one week I'm heavily focused on this, and I'm trying to play catch up with the other thing the following week, things along those lines. I feel like you will be finding some kind of a balance. Like I said, for some of you, it might even be that one of the options is pulled away altogether, or just your perspective on it might change to where you might say, okay, well, maybe I don't need to put so much work on this area. I could balance the two a little bit better. All right, so moving on to your Four Agreements card. We have be impeccable with your word, replace fear with love. All right, so let's see what it says. Okay, it says the human mind is like a fertile ground where seeds are continually being planted. When you are impeccable with your word, your mind is no longer fertile ground for the words that come from fear. Your mind is only fertile for the words that come from love. So, pretty positive message there, especially if that Two of Pentacles energy was more of an energy of possibly self-doubt in some way, right? Maybe if there's even this great idea you might have had, for example, with that Queen of Cups in the foundation, but you've been reluctant to share it with others because you might have felt like it might not have been received in the way you'd hope. Looks like you might be coming out of that energy. All right, so moving on to your Wisdom of the Oracle card. You guys got poised. There's the artwork, and the number is 48. So yeah, poised seems to support what I was saying there as far as you guys will be making some kind of a decision this month. You might not feel like you're there now if you're in that Two of Pentacles energy, of course, but looks like energies will shift to make you feel more sure of yourselves this month. Let's see what it says though. Okay, it says being ready, bringing something to light, being at your best, confidence. The Oracle's message. You can be assured that you are ready for anything right now. You know what you need to, your skills are sharp, you've come to this place armed with wisdom and knowledge, and you sense a new phase of your life about to begin. People respond to your confidence and trust you. This is an auspicious time to begin new things. So yeah, definitely a really positive message there regarding making some kind of decision. And the relationship message says when you're confident and happy in your own skin, you are ready for deeper, more intimate relationships. You have nothing to prove right now. You are completely yourself and can handle anything. Love, friendships, and harmonious new connections are all present now or coming in. You're ready to give and receive from the heart. This is a beautiful place to be. So, pretty positive message there as well. Like I said, I didn't get too huge of a relationship vibe there other than when we were talking about that Queen of Cups and the Foundation for a bit, but hopefully it resonated. Worst case, the love reading should be out in less than a week, most likely. All right, the prosperity message says you have every reason to feel confident. Everything you need to make your success concrete is now at your disposal. You can take action knowing you are ready to step into your power, into your light, and into your service to the world. The direction you're moving in is your destiny. Your soul is smiling with joy as you align with this truth. So, yeah, again, pretty positive message there as well as far as that decision that you guys seem to be trying to make this month. And lastly, we have a mudra for you. So, this is your mudra here. It's the Mushti mudra, and the keyword for it is centering. So, sounds like a good theme at the very least, but let's see what it says. Okay, so there's the info on the card if you want to pause it or take a screenshot. But under benefits, it says reduces anxiety and nervousness, strengthens digestion and assimilation, eliminates nightmares, calms the mind, imparts a sense of centeredness within the body, reduces fatigue, and increases overall vitality. So if that sounds like a mudra you think would be beneficial for you guys, I will put the name of it in the description of the video as always. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.